very good afternoon to all of you. It's indeed my pleasure to be moderating this session, very important in today's context. And I'm delighted to introduce the panelists for this session. Neela Kechari, she heads the talent acquisition at Merit Group. She has over 17 years of experience in the BPO and IT talent acquisition and talent management space. She is also a certified NLP and EFT practitioner. She is a pranic healer too. Our next panelist is Arvind Raj, Vice President, Olam Information Services Private Limited. Arvind has over 2 decades of HR and leadership experience in organizations like Wipro and Olam. He comes with a diverse experience in key areas of strategic HR, partnering, employee engagement, leadership development, and compensation and benefits. He heads HR for Olam Information Services and is responsible for HR business partnering, learning and development, and talent acquisition for the entity. We also have with us, and I'm happy to introduce Sajina John, Director, Talent Acquisition from UST Global. She has over 12 years of experience in talent acquisition with a passion for process excellence. She has worked for People Strong and Emirates. Thank you, panelists, for accepting this invitation and joining this very important session. We've been talking about this pandemic for a very long time, and it's been 2 years now. And this pandemic has hit all of us, irrespective of the geography, irrespective of the business, irrespective of the strata of the society. And one of the things that has come out to us is the way we manage things, the way we manage our resources. And everybody has been put to test on this. And it's often said that we all battle the same storm. Who reaches the shore safe and early are the ones who have been able to manage their teams very well, who have had a very agile workforce. And for that, getting the right talent in place and hiring the right talent has gained significant importance. And that's the reason why today we are having this session on how to navigate the virtual recruitment process. And I'm sure we will all be learning out of this session. And I'm very glad that we have some very esteemed experts here with us. And I'm sure we're going to hear from them some wonderful experience and sharing. Thank you very much once again. And I'll start with asking you for your comments on how has your organization responded to this situation of the pandemic or the work from home, work from anywhere for that matter, and how has it impacted your recruitment process? A quick 2-minute first impressions or first comments around this topic, if you may. We can start with Sajina.
Thank you, Kannan, for that. If there is one thing that the pandemic has taught us, it is that we have the ability to change and to adopt to change quickly. From a talent acquisition perspective, the most radical of all changes would be the sudden and complete transition into a virtual environment. Now, these processes might differ from geographies and labor market. For instance, if we have a market where there is already a virtual or a hybrid model, then we extend it to the others. But in a market like India or some of the other Southeast Asian countries, the changes have been significant. From a culture perspective, we are used to a culture where we insist on candidates coming to the office at least at one stage of the recruitment process. And the candidate is also at a comfort level to come and visit a physical office or to meet a HR person. From an organization perspective, when we looked at the pandemic, our initial thoughts were, how do we navigate this? How do we get the operations moving? And also from the candidate, how do we give them a seamless journey? But from UST, we also thought, how do we also showcase some of the things that we really have close to our heart, like the work culture or some of our flagship programs that we run? So it's been a very interesting journey in the last 1 year, looking at processes, revisiting those processes and thinking how can we recreate it in a virtual setting.
Right. Thank you, Sajina. That was quite interesting. I'm looking forward to having a little more exchange on this particular subject as we look at some of the other challenges as well. Arvind, is there your thoughts, please?
I probably echo with what Sajina mentioned. I think change is something, the way we have adopted. It's really fascinating to see the way the corporates, the candidates all been able to kind of change across to a new mode of working, to a new mode of the entire hiring process, if that's what we're focusing on. I remember, 18 months ago when in the month of March, when we were having our hiring drives, and we're going through a huge growth spectrum at this point in time. And we were to have a barrage of interviews and events that were already pre-planned. And this entire thing of lockdown, probably none of us have heard of this lockdown ever before in our life. And it comes in, and then suddenly there is chaos. The business comes back. My hiring team comes back. What do? Do we stop hiring? Do we shut down? That was the mode of start. To 18 months, the way I have probably seen, be it the candidate behavior, our hiring methodology, adoption of technology, our evaluation methods, have all matured. And I'm only so fascinated that 18 months can show so much of a change from how it started to a fairly very mature stage that we are in today. I think at Olam, we are probably at a 100% digital hiring journey that we go through, including from the start till onboarding, documentation. The entire journey has now got imbibed, and kind of seamlessly we kind of moved in very well. So I think a very interesting 18 months, and I'm sure the way things are going, the process are only going to mature further and make it a lot more seamless.
Wow, that's nice to know, Arvind. Especially knowing that Olam is now moving towards 100% virtual hiring, and you seem to getting it right. And that's a big challenge all of us have been facing in terms of the various organizations, right? Initially, when this all hit us, we were really struggling to know what has really hit us. And what is this animal all about, right? And finally, you'll land up knowing that it's not even an animal that we can even see with our eyes. So, and from there, moving on to reach a condition where you are able to do your recruitment all of 100%. And it'll be. I'm sure we're going to have a lot more conversations around this. I'll wait for that, Arvind. Thank you very much, Neela. What does your organization have to talk about the situation?
I think the ropes technology that we have transitioned to, especially, is it possible to have the entire hiring done online? How advanced the system has actually turned out to. So we've survived. I think we've learned to survive in both the extremes. One is the ability to hire. Is it possible? Is it necessary to have a face-to-face? Two, is it possible to take a decision on a Zoom call or a Teams call? And it has happened where we were able to make the right kind of selection also over a virtual, setup. And also the way the conferences are organized, hats off the way they've really shown that, you can bring all 2,000 to 2,500 candidates totally on a virtual pool. And that level of, advancement that we've seen, in my words, I think we are able to survive now in any extreme. Even if, now it's, I think, 95% of work from home in my organization. There are few specific, very critical processes that they're asked to come. But even then, we are able to manage that 95% work from home. And we're able to show equal level of success as well, and even more, And the best part about the whole thing, Kannan, is how we're able to have a beautiful work-life balance at the same time,
Wow.
And the way we were given advance 2 hours prior to sort of manage our cooking, in the morning, and also get back to work and have the time for family in the morning, and also focus on work. I think it's tremendous the way things have transformed in these 18 months, to be honest with you, Kannan.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing in that perspective about balancing both work and life and how you focus on some of those things. And particularly, it'll be interesting to know from you, because I saw your organization's website. It talks about how you are hiring to ensure that you are able to seamlessly manage the ups and downs of the demands or requirements of the industry. And also you have some program like something like a shadow program, and it'll be interesting to know more about that as well. So thank you very much. Thank you for giving those initial comments and setting the tone for the conversation. Let's move on. And I think, like all of you said, it's been very challenging. But adversity teaches us how to bring our best out, right? And that's what we have all been learning, and that's what we have been doing. One thing that I want to understand is what kind of process changes has your organization made to suit the current situation, right? I know that in the past we were doing little bit of virtual hiring, online hiring, in terms of at least the initial round of discussions and interviews, but that was more from the point of view of cutting down the process time, right? But now it has become such an imperative that it's like part and parcel of the entire process itself. So I'm sure there would have been a requirement for all of you to change your processes a little bit, so that we ensure that all those minute details about ensuring the right candidate is being hired, and we are careful about who we hire into the organization and all of that. So I'd like to hear from you, starting with Neela. Can you share with us about what are the kind of processes that you have changed?
The first thing that we did look at is it is possible to work from home. I think we've given a lot of leverage to our employees for both the genders, to be equal, opportunity for both the genders, to help them with the best Wi-Fi connection in place first, to ensure are their network connectivity, is it good, and we also support them in terms of cost. To have their own, excellent bandwidth, so that the work doesn't get, hampered, or there is no disturbance during the work timings. So that is one. And now it's work from home as well. So that is the next step. And especially for women, I think the work from home has really contributed, personally for them. I think they're quite happy. And excited to know that we're not limiting that work from home for them. We are extending it as and when they need. Women go through various biological changes and all of that. We understand and we cater to their needs. And we ensure that the deliverables are also met. We have meetings with them. There's a lot of flexi options that we have started providing as well. So there's a one-to-one connects that we have online. We have an extended counseling arm. Especially during these times, you do have women going through confusion, because this whole thing is different, right? This, we are always seeing each other online, and it has a very, very different set of impact as well. The human connect is, it's a struggle to have the human connect as well, but we're able to do it. We are able to still maintain connect. So we insist all of them to come on video, to be honest. As an organization, we insist that we don't go off audio. And, you get these tiny circles that we see. We insist that we see each other's faces, to ensure that all of us still feel the same energy that we normally feel when we are at work. So that's something that we call that a process itself. We said we must have people on video. We tell them, if you're not comfortable coming on video, let us know when you can come on video, so that we get to see you. We're literally, we all miss each other. So when we come on video, we feel connected in a way, energetically connected as well. So that is one, I think, to start with, I can say this to begin with.
But has there been any process change that you brought to the recruitment process since the entire thing has gone virtual now?
On the onboarding, yes, we have created a platform where seamlessly they can upload the hiring documents. There's a lot of paperwork that is sort of avoided during the onboarding process for hiring. And the second thing is we insist the hiring interviews are mostly done online, so that we are aware of. We ensure that we check in prior that the connectivity during the interview process is fine. We ensure that they they also we give them certain pre-tips for the interview as well. The recruiters also talk to the candidates and tell them a list of points to sort of make them feel like close to the face-to-face interview. So that has changed. I think that process we've added right now, so that they don't feel a little different, because some people are shy in a video interview. We still have those challenges where candidates are reluctant to come on a video call. So we go to we tell them that is all right, and this is how the interview is going to be. Are you comfortable? You need to have the camera on. So we give them these prerequisite things to follow, and then we kind of prepare them for the interview, which normally we never did earlier. So when they meet us, it's always how they approach the interview process. Now we give them heads up, because we want the best to be selected, right? So these technology glitches and all of that we check prior, so that we get the best out of them, out of these resources that we hire. So that's the main process that we follow in the recruitment point of view. Yeah.
Has it increased the time taken for the entire process cycle?
Has it increased the time taken? Yes, it has. It has increased the time taken. But however, we are still able to make the same kind of, result. We're still able to bring the same kind of result, and perhaps even more, to be honest with you. I think the transport time is reduced, candidates traveling time for the interview, they're able to take their interviews then and there. Like we also talk to them prior, please take care of these things. We want the best out of you, and let these things not hinder your actual performance during the interview. So we give them these kind of advice. So it has sort of brought us the best interviews as well. They're able to perform better on a video interview. Probably a lot of things on the gestures, body language and all of that gets avoided. But, face to face, we tell them, we do prep up our own candidates. As I told you, that results have definitely shown improvement. Yeah.
Thank you, Neela. And Arvind, what's been the changes in the process that Olam has brought about in the recruitment during this time?
See, process adoption, yes, there has been quite a few changes from our traditional methods to completely technology-driven method. By the way, before I go there, Neela, I like the fact that you mentioned saying there's a lot of pre-tips that you give the candidates for comfort. I think that's a very nice thing that your team is doing. So, Kannan, coming back to what Olam did, I mean, right from moving out to a complete a face-to-face, a paper-driven world. I remember prior to March, I go to my recruiting team's hub, and it'll be stacks of CVs or stacks of feedback sheets. And I always wondered if a world can go without so much of paper. Today, there is absolutely no paper, including offer letter, to the entire zone of taking employees' records, so the candidates' records, to issuing offers. The entire journey is now very seamless and in a very digital manner. So what are the key things, if I should probably ask you? One is adopting technology, right from moving out to having our own talent hub, where right from your CV parsing to candidate information, to scheduling of interviews, to conducting of interviews, to end state of offer. So this entire zone has now probably we have kind of adopted into the tools. Market has now given this as an opportunity for many startups to come out with amazing amount of automation. I mean, things that we probably never even thought of. I mean, that's probably the plus of the pandemic, the kind of innovative products that's there in the market today. The other adoption is definitely from a perspective of getting our own managers ready to handle and to probably understand, like how Neela mentioned, saying that we are missing out on the body gestures at this point in time. And body gestures speak a lot about a candidate's confidence, a candidate's ability to manage scenarios, situations. To now, it is a very a scenario where they'll have to kind of see what best that they can do in an online world with just your face on the screen. Okay, so we have manager panelist prep sessions that we have done. The entire process of engaging with the candidates, probably I'll speak about it a little later. But then the entire process of engaging, how we engage with the candidates, have also completely changed from an earlier system to today. It's made it a lot more easier to connect with the candidate because it's from one digital equipment to another digital equipment. So the process of connect is far more seamless. Definitely, we have seen a much higher productivity from the talent acquisition team in terms of output, or probably a good reduction in cost as well, which we have seen as a trend as we transform into the newer methods of adopting technology.
Thanks, Arvind. Thank you for those insights. Sajina, what's been your experience in terms of the processes?
Like I mentioned before, it's been a very interesting year for the recruitment team. We have been busy trying to recreate some of those processes in a virtual setting. When the pandemic started, when we are talking about an organizational focus, we chalked out a couple of key areas where we wanted to be spot on. Okay, we wanted to focus on. One of them was the communication. Now, in a pandemic setting, the candidate is already there is already an air of anxiety, and there cannot be any room for miscommunication, right? So we looked at how can we have a commonality in messaging, what they see on the website and what we talk in the social media platforms and what the recruiters are talking to the candidate. Are we spot on there? Is the messages common? The messages must be clear, and it must be timely, and also how can we also make the messages as personal as possible to the candidate. Number two that we did was what both Arvind and Neela spoke about, about coaching the candidates and prepping the hiring managers. To that, I just want to add that hiring managers' ability to take decisions in a virtual environment is quite difficult. It can be very nerve-wracking, for him to, judge a person just looking at a screen, and you have to look at the culture fit. You have to look at the ability to perform the job. So there are a lot of things that we look at, right? So we coach them on, how do you make those decisions quickly. Also, we want to use some reasonable caution in determining the authenticity and the genuinity of the candidates also, right? So we have some cues and some checks and balances that we have with the hiring manager to see if, the candidates that are coming in for the interview are the same candidates who are joining us also in a virtual environment, right? So those things are taken, and Neela also spoke about the video. So what happens is, when two people are talking across a screen and one person has a camera on and one does not, right? It is not very comfortable. You don't know who's on the other side, right? How do you ensure that, both of them know who's on the other side, look at them and have that conversation? It is also very important you get a feel of the other person and the body language, and to read those people and be more comfortable. Number three, and very important for us, like I mentioned before, was also to showcase, some of the things that we hold very close to our heart. The UST's purpose of transforming lives, and also some of UST's values of humility and humanity and integrity, are all embedded in our value systems. These are showcased in our actions and interactions with the candidate and the employees and the businesses, our customers, our partners. Also, we have some interesting programs like the colors. We have 7 colors, each color depicting an idea, and the employees can go and choose a color which is close to their heart and the way in which they can contribute to the organization, like, for instance, pink for CSR, green for growth, and purple for people. So whatever ways they want to. We have impact India programs where we, work a lot with on the diversity side, and Step It Up America, where we focus on the minority women and give them an opportunity to come into technology space in America. So we look at, how can we recreate some of those events so that the candidate also gets some inside stories of what is happening within USD, and also some stories of, some really passionate stories of people who have grown from within of our inclusive, culture that we have. So it's very important that we did those tweakings just to get, the candidates also into the whole picture. Otherwise, the candidate would be probably experiencing it when they visit our buildings and talking to our people, but here they don't have an opportunity. So we do that by creating events for them. Another thing which Arvind also talked about was, when we look at platforms and tools, and we look at our legacy, tools which got us so far, is this the one that is, going to help us in the next in the future? So we look at our tools, and we are also looking at some artificial intelligence based platforms which can throw in some statistics and enable some quick decisions and give us a shorter cycle time. Those are some of the things that we look at. And I cannot also avoid but say, what we looked at our team internally. How do we manage our teams internally when all of them are not physically present in the same space? How do we build that positive team dynamics and mindful communications? And, how do we give them that work-life balance, and we get it all coordinated from within?
When we started this conversation, I talked about agility of the organizations, and what I hear all of you say reflects that agility in terms of how quickly we are responding to ensure that the quality of experience each of these candidates go through is seamless. It is kind of a common experience that they have, while keeping in mind the productivity aspects and also the aspects of communication. Wonderful, that is great. Your last comment around the tools and techniques that we're using and how we are changing and trying to get in new technology and all of that, that's the next question that I wanted to ask. Have you changed any of the tools that you're using to do the hiring process, or has also focusing on your search partners, right? Whether they have changed any tools? Are there anything new that is coming out that you would like the candidates to be more familiar with, or for your recruiters to be familiar with? What are the new tools? Sajina, you can continue the conversation with that.
Sure. So we have already, so we spoke about the legacy tools, which is our normal ATS that we still use partly, but also we've also been partnering. There are different types of tools, right? So we have also been partnering with a lot of assessment tools and platforms like the Hacker and HackerRank and Codility and VBox. And so although those were used partly earlier, now they have all become like mainstream use. So we use them more often now. Again, we are looking into, in the last couple of weeks, I think I've met with so many of those partners who are offering these intelligent tools, the AI-based tool. We are in-house also having an intelligent-based tool called Edge, which will, give us that edge forward in talent acquisition space. And also, the regular video conferencing calls, just to give you an example, we all use Zoom, right? And do we use the facility where we can actually have put candidates into breakout rooms and give us those exercises? How do we capitalize on these things that are already available with us and look at more intelligent platforms that can give us those wow experience as well as reduce the cycle time?
Wonderful. Arvind and Neela, anything else different or anything new in terms of the tools and technology that you're using? Neela, you want to go?
Yeah. See, on the I would have to say the candidate experience. We've made it online recently, because earlier it was when they walk into our campus, we share with them a feedback form about a specific recruiter, how the person was treated, how long the person had to wait in the hall for their various levels of interview. So that has changed right now, where we have internally worked with our team as well, the software applications group. They have transformed this candidate feedback online. So it's because that's quite an important area of metrics right now, because how you're treated is quite important as a first step. If you don't feel good about waiting for an hour at the interview room or a conference room, that has a lot of impact. So we've made that online to sort of get us the picture, because it took us some time though, because initially we were trying to see how we can get this organized, because that's a very critical thing to look at, to understand how they feel about the organization, their interview process. All of that is very important for us, especially from a talent acquisition standpoint. Hiring or attracting talent is very critical, and if you are not giving them the right kind of experience at the very first step, because one is they are trying to impress us by showcasing their resume. How do we impress them by showcasing, giving them the utmost experience? Because every candidate can be gold, right? There is no, we don't know them right at the very beginning if they're going to make it or break it, right? So that experience, we've transformed that online, Kannan, to begin with. The rest of it is the assessment tools. I think that has increased right now. I think we were working using metal, and we still do. And those assessments are now online to ensure that we give them the limited amount of time though. To start with, they have a coding challenge. They do have the technical assessment that's done online. And we give them specific time, window period, and all of that. And then there is another assessment that we look at, during the course of the interview. And there's a prep before that I did mention, to tell them, this is how the process is going to be. There will be assessments online. Are you comfortable? So we have a category of, experienced resources. We tell them, are you willing to go through this? Are you willing to put that time? Because some of them, 5+ or 8 years, if they're really good, we understand that they do not want to perhaps waste time on an assessment. We hear them out, definitely. And if it's not needed, we tell them it's fine, but there will be a little bit of assessment during the online interview where you will be given some coding to do as well. So in a way, I think the assessments have increased online. Assessments are considered, I think prior we did have limited, but now it's all technologies. We ensure that the assessments are, given, online. So that tool has definitely increased. On the ATS part of it, we're all now, we're all highly dependent on the ATS now. Some of the best vendors have come forward. We're trying to create a robust system of seamless entry of data into the ATS. You don't have to, the moment you upload your resume, all the data gets captured in the ATS. There's no manual entry of Excel sheets and all of that right now. I think that was already there, but now it's even more pertinent. It's even more important to get this information out online as well. So ATS has really transformed as well. So
thank you, Neela. Arvind, anything different, anything unique that Olam has to offer?
So I think some of probably what Neela and Sajina mentioned is something that we did adopt in Olam, and we're using it. Some few other things that probably I'd like to highlight here, Kannan, is one, probably even from a perspective of scheduling mass interviews. I mean, we run this campaign called Login is the New Walk-in. So walk-in drives are gone. So this campaign probably looks at, I mean, we need to do hundreds of interviews in a day. And I guess it was far more easier I mean, then we thought it was difficult, but now I guess it was far more easier doing in a face-to-face where you had rooms, you had panelists available, to the entire thing now getting scheduled online. So we do use some scheduling help internally through our own technology team. So, I mean, the advantage that I have here is We are the technology team for Olam globally, where the technology team and the GBS team here supports about 60 odd countries operating from India. So I have the benefit of using my own technology team to kind of help with a lot of some of these tools which are in-house created. We are also now very shortly launching. We have now partnered with a startup, and we are shortly launching where an AI and a bot-driven hiring process that it would be. So we just need to probably given the JD, the bot reads through the JD, it goes probably and parses CVs, gets it. There's a recruitment there's a CV score against each of the CVs on the relevancy with regards to the JD that we have given. And to move on, right from, to the entire process again, we have upgraded our own in-house recruitment tool. So it's a complete digital world.
Thanks, Arvind. I think we are coming to the end of this session. Sorry to cut you there, Arvind, because I just want to have the last part of it very quickly. I want to hear from each of you very quickly, in just 1 or 2 words. What would be your advice to the candidates in this new way of hiring? Quickly, 1 or 2 words. We have just about two minutes to go.
I'll probably say that adopt and make yourself very articulative. Online world requires better articulation, right, and to focus, to prepare well and articulate well.
Thank you, Arvind. Sajina?
Yeah, I would also say the same. Research on the company, some of the things that they do, go through Glassdoor, really research, rehearse your interview, and you will sound more, confident. And if you are doing something like a digital interview where you just get one shot to make an impression and go to the next stage, prepare that well. You get your topic, you prepare that well and present it with confidence.
Right. Thank you so much. I think we lost Neela. I think maybe connectivity is lost. Is there any final comments anybody would like to say?
I guess it's been a very interesting 18 months. Let's look forward. There's going to be a lot more innovation. There's going to be a lot more change. And I guess whoever probably can lead and adopt very well to this new way of working will probably lead across. So it's a good opportunity for us to now look forward to.
Right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Sajina, any final parting comments that you would have?
I'll just add to that. I also would say that, look into your teams and foster those creative environment within the teams, because we will need those creative solutions to take us to the next level.
Right. Thank you so much. And I think it's been very exciting journey so far. And actually, I've also been quite enriched by this conversation. It's been years since I've been actually doing the recruitment part of it, and I've stopped doing it. And even earlier when I was doing it, we used to do a lot of virtual recruitment, but things have significantly changed now. And I'm delighted to see how we are all adapting ourselves to the change. And I'm sure that the candidates who are applying for each and every one of your organizations will understand that and will mold themselves to the new ways of looking at it. And I'm delighted to see the way how you are kind of, bringing in innovation, creativity in the whole process. Neela is back now. Neela, we lost you. Quickly, can I have your comment on what is your advice to the candidate? 1 or 2 words in terms of your comments, your views to the candidates in terms of this new way of recruitment.
Okay. The good thing is this is going to be the way, at least for the next 6 months to probably 1 year down the line. And we are pretty excited to meet you in person as well. But you will have to get accustomed to this mode of interviews. Please bear with us, and we will definitely, things will become better. So I think that much I would like to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sajina. Thank you, Arvind. Thank you, Neela, for this time that you have given us. And I'm sure all the participants in this, job fair are going to be really benefited from this conversation that we are having. And you're going to see a lot more well-prepared candidates appearing for your organization and applying for jobs in your organizations. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. On behalf of Avtar and on my own personal behalf, thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.